Hey, so my name's Elton, and today I'll be discussing the up-and-coming new 4-star Ming. He's a very unique individual that I just wanted to cover, and since Lantern Rite and the Lunar New Year are coming up soon, I wanted to make a short video on some thoughts that were just running through my mind about him. So, Gaming is a Pyroclamer user that has a very unique way of dealing damage. Only one other character in the game has ever really been able to do that so far, and that's Xiao. Xiao is famous for his plunging attack meta, and it's been about 3 years since his release that we are finally getting another character that does the same. His elemental skill allows him to charge into an opponent, and when he comes into contact with an opponent, he'll float up into the air and then perform an attack that essentially pile drives into the ground. This attack is counted as plunging attacks, and will deal pyro damage that can't be overridden by other elemental infusions. When his elemental skill's punching attack lands, he'll consume 15% of his max HP, and he can't be brought lower than 10% HP this way. This skill has a cooldown of 6 seconds. Gaming's burst is where things get even more interesting. His burst activates a duration of time that initially heals him by 30% of his max HP. Then he summons his little lion dancing pet called Suani Man Chai. This companion will smash into opponents, dealing some AoE pyro damage, and then will return to Gaming, resetting the cooldown of his skill upon reunion. Gaming gains increased resistance to interruption in this state, and when his elemental skill's punching attack or the initial bum rush of his skill hits an opponent, while he has more than 50% of his HP, then he will summon his companion again. This effect ends when Gaming switches off-field, and each Gaming can only have one of these companions. The effect duration lasts 12 seconds, the cooldown of his burst is 15 seconds, and the burst has a cost of 60 energy. His first passive allows him to regain 1.5% of his max HP every 0.2 seconds for the next 0.8 seconds after his elemental skill's punching attack hits an opponent. And his second passive allows him to gain a 20% incoming healing bonus when his HP is under 50%, and while his HP is equal to or above 50%, his elemental skill's punching attack deals 20% more damage. So, just looking at his base kit, we can point out some very obvious things. The first is that he is a DPS, and his form of it is through plunging attacks, as I've said before. Second is that he has an HP changing mechanic, something that we have seen more often from the Fontaine characters, especially the main DPS ones. This is obviously meant for these type of characters to be able to proc the effects of Marchose Hunter and capitalize off of its crit rate buffing effect. And finally, due to him being a plunge attacking DPS, he has a more limited pool of options for support to boost his damage. In fact, the only main support for him is Shanyan, the 5-star character plunge attack support that is coming out in the same patch as him. And when it comes to artifacts, the best set for him is Marchose Hunter, with Vermillion coming in at a close second. This is because even though Gaming cannot take advantage of the 2-piece effect that gives a normal attack and charge attack increase, the 4-piece of Marchose Hunter is just too valuable, and giving a ridiculous amount of crit rate means that it's just absolutely insane. Vermillion can work as well, but giving so much attack to a attack-heavy unit starts to lose out on value. And while Crimson Witch could work, it doesn't beat out the other two options in terms of DPS. And while Crimson Witch could work, it doesn't beat out the other two options in terms of DPS. As for weapons, I can only really think of Tidal Shadow as of right now. Its passive increases attack whenever the equipped character is healed and gives additional attack when it triggers. However, Gaming is an attack scaler, so honestly there are a plethora of weapons that he can choose from to satisfy his damage. His C1 heals him for 15% of his max HP after his companion returns to him. This provides good on-field sustainability after his burst is active, due to his burst only giving healing on cast. And even with this extra healing, the 4-piece effect of Vermillion hereafter can still be procced. His C2 gives him an extra 20% attack for 5 seconds when he gets healed, and it counts as overhealing. Not too bad of an attack increase, but this is a very short time window for this. Gaming's C4 gives him 2 energy when his elemental skill's plunging attack hits an opponent. This can only happen once every 0.2 seconds. This constellation makes it a lot easier for you to build more offensive stats and not waste too much time focusing on energy recharge. And for his last constellation, his C6 increases the crit rate and crit damage of his elemental skill's plunging attack by 20% and 40% respectively, while also increasing his attack radius. This constellation is a massive boost in DPS due to higher numbers as well as a larger AoE. But what I really want to talk about are his team compositions. Bennett and Chevreuse are going to be options for support, given the additional attack with Pyro Resonance along with their respective buffs that they both provide. Bennett gives a ridiculous amount of attack, while Chevreuse provides resistance shred, and attack boosting as well. However, if you were to play with other elements beside Pyro and Electro, then you would only gain Chevreuse's second passive, not first. And Xiangling can work as a sub DPS as well, with her ER requirements going down in mono Pyro teams. In vaporized teams, Kokomi and Farina would be amazing options, especially with Farina giving her burst damage bonus. Xingqiu and Yalan could work, but you would have to do a normal attack in between every plunge attack, which could be a tad difficult and annoying for some to pull off. Aya and Layla both have good off-field cryo application, with Layla being a pretty good option given his ability to activate his elemental skill often, allowing for more of her night stars to be generated. Sucrose and Kaza both have their uses with Viridescent Shredding while giving Elemental Mastery and Elemental Damage bonus respectively, but Shanyan is going to be his best support in Anemo. Her direct ability to increase plunging attack damage is a massive help for Gaming. I honestly didn't want to go too in depth since the focus of my videos are usually based on the general progression and typically the growth of the game. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and you already know what button to press if you want to see more on a regular basis. If you have something to say, I can only hope that it's nice. Thank you, and bye!